I took my brother's $500,000 life insurance money, and I'm not giving his wife or kid a cent. Am I the a-hole?
I'm almost suspecting that this guy is a murderer and stole the money.
Is this about to be like a true crime
This is about to be an episode of Scooby-Doo.
I, 40 male, lost my brother, 42 male, Jay, in a car accident a few months ago. Growing up, he was the golden child. He got a full ride to a prestigious college while I had to pay my own way and eventually drop out. He went on to grad school, but I got married and settled down with my wife, 42 female, Brittany, early on. We have had financial struggles, which caused us to not be able to start a family. We live paycheck to paycheck in a one-bedroom apartment. Jay always made good money, but wasn't lucky in love. He was very picky, and while we had some longer 1 to 2 year relationships, he was looking for perfection before getting married.
Sounds like man wasn't trying to settle.
He finally married his wife, 40 female, Mary, in 2019. She also made good money like Jay. She also had 2 children from a previous relationship. One is in college, and the other will be starting next year. She and Jay also had twin girls about a year ago. Mary and Jay both worked and have a nanny they share with a neighbor for their girls. When they got pregnant, she sold her house where they were living, and he sold his condo that he had been renting out, and they bought a larger family home together. All this to say money is not a problem for them.
It sounds like OP wants the money and his brother's wife.
Oh, God. Like I said, Jay passed away recently in a car accident.
A car accident that OP caused.
And Mary found out that I was the beneficiary of his 401k and life insurance policy through his employer. The life insurance is $150,000, but the 401k is much more substantial. He set it up that way years before Mary was in the picture and never changed it. Mary begged me to give her a portion of the money, but I said no.
Mary, why don't you go have a little lamb? I'm going to sit on this pile of cash, though.
You have your little lamb. I'm going to buy myself a lamb. A Lamborghini. Vroom, vroom. She inherited his part of their house and their joint savings account, which is around 50 grand. She said that she paid for his funeral, and to make it work on her income alone, she will have to sell the house, give up the nanny, put the girls in daycare, and won't be able to help her older kids with college the way that she planned.
OP.
Oh boy. I told her that's not my fault. If he wanted to change the beneficiary, he should have done that.
I feel like this isn't respecting his brother's wishes.
But he didn't. So now the money is mine.
Oh my God. You sound like Scrooge.
My wife and I plan to use the money to buy a home and finally start a family. She says her husband's money should go to his children, but she doesn't see that me using the money to have my own children is more important. Our parents think I'm an a-hole because the money should go to his kids. I offered to take $50K and put it in a trust for the girls' education, but they said Mary needs the money now. They said the life insurance would pay off their mortgage and the boys' college and put money away for the girls' future. And her income would cover the rest so they wouldn't have to move. But what about my family?
Yeah, it's tricky, man.
I think the question here is, what would you do if you suddenly got
$500,000
and he has a wife and kids?
I feel like the right thing to do would probably be split it.
I think that's a good perspective.
I mean, maybe he did mean to give it all to you. I find it hard to believe that he would, seeing that he has 2 daughters. Even taking half seems kind of...
Giving just 50 grand out of 500.
I think OP's the a-hole a little bit. Yeah. He definitely would want his kids to have something. Peeping Tom took photos of me in my underwear smoking that sweet grass, and I think he's going to blackmail me with it. This is a bizarre situation, and I have never encountered anything like it before, so please bear with me.
Bear Grylls over here. Maybe we read the stories like Bear Grylls.
Yeah. About a week ago, I was home alone in the evening, just hanging out on the couch, watching TV while my husband was at band practice. I was also smoking weed. Weed is decriminalized, I believe, in North Carolina, but still illegal. So not making any excuses for that. That's what I was doing. It is what I is. I'm a dirty, dirty criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you are.
Lock him up.
We own our house and have a large fenced-in backyard with big floor-to-ceiling windows looking out on the yard. If someone's like has giant glass windows,
yeah.
If you're clapping cheeks on this window, is it illegal for someone to film you?
Definitely. The person filming, they're getting hit with a charge because they're recording it, right?
So, but Yeah, I guess so.
Because the person, the couple, they should be straight because they're like in their, I imagine.
That's really close-minded of you. They should be straight just because they're
exactly.
Yeah. Wow, John. I can't believe you.
Canceled.
We keep the blinds and curtains closed when we aren't home and at night, but usually we leave the blinds up just a bit during the day at the bottom so that our dog and cats can look outside and watch squirrels and such while we're gone. It's kind of cute.
That's nice.
This particular day, it didn't occur to me to fully close the blinds at the bottom. It's only about maybe a foot of exposed window, and our yard has a 7 or 8 foot privacy fence and tons of mature pine trees that make it impossible for neighbors behind us to see in. It was dark around 9:30 p.m. and I was smoking out of a large glass bong. I had a roommate that had a big bong, so. Oh, wait, no, that's not.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Big bong. I know you always sucking from
big
that
bong
thing.
Billy. Banging on Billy Bob's bong dong.
With open windows, of course.
Yeah, that's how we do it,
Making
baby.
sure the whole door is off.
But it's not allowed because it's not straight.
Yeah.
That's the one scenario that we can't. That's the one scenario that we can't allow.
Suddenly, I saw a weird flash coming from the window I described, like a phone's camera flash.
Oh.
I didn't think anything of it. Figured I was being paranoid. Maybe it's like lightning or something, you know?
Yeah.
Until yesterday, I get home from work and check the mail. In the mailbox was an unaddressed envelope, and inside were several grainy pictures of me from that night sitting on the couch,
Oh my God.
huge glass bong in hand. They weren't great quality, but it was clearly me. Clearly a bong. And there's also a jar of weed visible on the coffee table in front of me. Oh no. Low key though, but like with AI and shit, like anyone can make
Everything's
like
fake
Photoshop. Now. Everything's fake. Yo, just Photoshop. Just that's an easy out.
Yeah.
You know? There was also a printed note stating that if I didn't want these photos getting out to family members or the police, I would send various nude photos of myself to an email address, as well as photos of myself in specific outfits I often wear to work. That is so creepy.
Disgusting.
I thought when I was reading this initially, I thought it was going to be like money or something.
Right.
You know, but obviously I'm not going to do that. And we'll just go to the police with the printed photos and the note. Is there not enough porn out there? Is there not enough porn? You need more. My question is, will I get into any kind of trouble with the police for photos of me smoking weed? I will get all the marijuana and paraphernalia out of the house before going to the police, of course. Having to do community service or drug classes or testing won't prevent me from going to police over this. I just want to get this creep arrested. I have suspicion of who it is. Whoever this person is has to be dumb as fuck. Like if someone's trying to get like nudie pictures of me from work, like the only person it could probably be is John.
Oh, God.
And so at least
my plan's been exposed.
At least I know who it is. I want to get this creep arrested. I have a suspicion of who it is, so he doesn't do this to anyone else. I just want to know what to expect. Please let me know if there's any additional information I can provide. Okay, there is an update, and it's a juicy update. But John, before we get into the update, what would you do in this situation? And is OP the a-hole for reporting this guy?
Yeah, not the a-hole. I'm saying not the a-hole. I'm putting everything I am on that. Really quick before I answer that, I think it would be interesting. We asked earlier for people to share their stories if someone's done something similar to them.
Yeah. Have you ever been like stalked, or has someone taken photos of you against your will?
I'd also be curious. I'm guessing that's what happened with this Reddit story, of other people's advice, even if they don't have an experience themselves. If they have, like, I imagine like North Carolina lawyers in this story probably.
Yeah. Like,
right?
what would you do if you were stalked?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm curious if anyone also has advice, maybe your lawyer, whatever. You could share that in the comments below as well. I think definitely it's worth the I guess the risk of going to the North Carolina Police Department and being like, okay, yeah, like I won't lead with it, obviously, but like there is weed in it or whatever.
Okay, you ready for this juicy update?
All right, spill it on me.
It's juicy. It's juicy.
Serenade me in it.
Update. I had a pretty good idea of who this creeper was, and it turns out I was right. On to the updates. We both took the day off work yesterday to deal with this nonsense, and I set up a meeting with my family's lawyer, also a close family friend, which is why I was able to get a meeting so quickly for this morning. The first thing we did was review the camera footage again for the last couple of weeks. Nothing there, so we moved on to my neighbors. We're pretty friendly with most of our neighbors, and I'm very good friends with a few of them. So he popped over for some visits yesterday. As I mentioned, the suspected creep is known for being a creep in the neighborhood. Being seen in people's yards, staring at women as they jog or walk their dogs, Facebook stalking, you probably know the drill. Yikes, what a nerd. He is the son of a neighbor across the street from me. I thought he was a teenager, but turns out he's in his 20s. Neighbor A, who lives next door to him, mentioned that he was a big reason they put up a security fence, as he would often be caught peeking through the hedges at neighbor A whenever she was in their pool, tanning, or gardening.
God.
So freaking weird. Neighbor B said she actually had some similar Peeping Tom incidents last year. Camera flashes at the windows at night whenever her boyfriend wasn't home. She never got any photos or notes, but she did get some bizarre, quote unquote, gifts left on her back patio, like a single size 10 red high-heeled shoe, a lawn statue of a female gnome in a bikini, and a bag of what appeared to be homemade brownies that she, of course, threw away. That is a weird assortment of gifts. But hey, at least he's given some unique shit. They never put up cameras or anything and never saw or caught who was doing it. She seemed pretty nonchalant about the whole thing, which is typical for her, I suppose. Then I emailed our neighborhood watch coordinator, a woman you do not want to mess around with.
Ooh.
I left out the parts about the photos of me getting baked in my underwear and watching Adventure Time and just stuck to Peeping Tom might have taken photos of me in my house and left a note in my mailbox. Then we went home and I went out back to mess around with my dog. And that's when I saw it. Placed dead center in one of our garden beds, a lawn statue of a female gnome in a bikini.
Dude, it's giving Ted Bundy. I'm not here for it.
Yeah.
I'm not here for it.
I am not. But all right, now I got to look it up.
It's kind of cute, I guess.
Fucking weirdo.
Like in an adorable way.
I texted a picture of it to neighbor B, asking her if this was the same one she also received. And it was. There was a piece of paper sticking out from underneath saying, "Nudes or else. You know what to do." At this, I was less freaked out and more just like amused. I don't think this guy really thought there was scheme all the way through. I showed my husband and we laughed for 5 straight minutes about the absurdity of all this. This idiot didn't even notice the very obvious security cameras put up facing the yard.
There we go.
There we go, OP. As Nana would say, that boy ain't got the good sense God gave a goose.
I love that.
So we went in, reviewed the security footage, and sure enough, it was who I thought it was, the creep from across the street. We got everything together, the notes, the photos, garden gnome, and the file from the cameras, made copies of it all, and went about the rest of our day knowing we'd see our lawyer this morning. Then, last night around 10:30, we were getting ready for bed when our doorbell rang. We saw the blue flashes of police car lights through the blinds, so honestly, my stomach dropped. We had gotten rid of everything incriminating, but I was pretty scared. It wasn't the police, at our house anyway, but the neighborhood watch coordinator. I'll call her NWC. Not to be confused with the NWA.
Yeah, I was about to say, what does this stand for?
She hadn't responded to my email because she had been dealing with a whole other mess all day. Apparently, neighborhood creep tried to pull the same scheme with someone else, except it was a 16-year-old girl.
Oh,
shit. And that's like, that's jail.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
jail time.
You're doing
jail.
serious.
You're doing jail, big boy.
Serious time.
He had taken photos of her and some friends drinking Bud Light Lime in their backyard, as well as photos of her changing clothes through her bedroom window. Wow, that's bad. Luckily, she had good sense to tell her parents, and they also had security cameras installed in their yard. The footage they had of him was at night and he was wearing a hoodie, but he left their yard in the direction of the house and had the same build as neighborhood creep. The girl had seen creep watching her and her friends, so she knew it was him. And I guess other people had complained enough about him that there was enough of a paper trail for the police to come and arrest him, or at least take him in for questioning.
Wow.
I'm not really sure how these things work, but I did see them take him away in a police car. Maybe there was other evidence that NWC had. I don't know. Anyway, NWC OP asked me if I had any footage of him and recommended I turn it over to the police. I said we would be talking to our lawyer first, but we wanted this guy out of the neighborhood, so we would be in touch with the police and would follow up after we spoke to her this morning. We met with her lawyer this morning and gave her all the stuff we had and told her that this guy had been taken in last night for the same thing. She was very confident that I would not be in any trouble whatsoever for the photos, the weed photos.
That's good.
Especially given this guy's now established history of sneaking pictures of women in these sorts of positions for the purpose of trying so badly to blackmail them.
Mm-hmm.
The police were at Creep's house again today, putting some stuff in boxes from the house in their cars. I do feel bad for his mother. She's actually a very nice woman, if a bit doormatty. Anyway, that's that for now. We'll be keeping all our weed and accessories at my brother-in-law's house for now, and neither of us will be smoking until this whole thing is resolved, just in case. Thanks for all of your advice and tips, everyone. I will update again later if there's anything to update on. P.S. The bikini lawn gnome is currently in possession of my lawyer or the police, but I hope to be able to recover it after this is all done. I kind of want to display it in my front yard as a trophy.
Wow.
And that's a wrap.
My goodness.
Yeah. What a freaking story. I mean, I want to know all of your crazy stalker photos, or if anyone has ever taken pictures of you without your consent. Or just like, I don't know, weirdo creepos.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty that you guys have experienced.
The stories, not the actual photos, of course.
Yeah. No. Don't
You
send the
literally said,
photos.
I want to see all your...
Dang it, John.
Got you back, baby.
Yes, please tell us the stories of that happening. But John, what do you think OP should have done in this situation? Do you think she did anything wrong? Do you think she did anything like very right? And have you ever had a creepo stalker situation of your own?
So I kind of slightly have, and I'll explain in a second. But yeah, I mean, I can't like nothing. I don't think I would have done anything differently if not like dive in deeper to see like what are all the charges we can like slap on this guy to like get him as much. But also it kind of seems like OP's like, all right, it's handled. Like I don't, which is also like,
yeah, who wants to go through like
all that stuff?
Yeah,
like, you know, she's just like, we got him. It's good, you know, which, hey, great. So yeah, I don't think I think OP handled it very well, contacted the lawyer, figured everything out. And like, she wanted to stop him so he didn't do it anymore, which is like that's like the biggest thing, and she succeeded, so that's fantastic.
But we'd love to know your stalker stories, so if you have any, please share them. And what did you do?
A disabled person keeps parking where I don't want them to, so I got them towed. Am I the a-hole?
Really, if you think about it, OP is enabling the disabled person by making them move.
So I bought a house a few months ago and I moved in last month. The previous owner was a friendly old man that could no longer live alone, so he decided to sell and move in with his daughter. Just to be clear, I put disabled in quotation marks because the lady...
I don't believe in his disability. I don't believe your legs don't work.
Come on. Prove it. I put this in quotation marks because the lady in question is just really, really overweight, and I'm not sure if that counts as disabled.
Just because you caused your own disability doesn't mean that you aren't disabled.
Yes.
You know, like if I shoot both of my kneecaps and can't walk, I'm still disabled even though I shot both my kneecaps.
Great move.
How many people have knee problems, right? Like, oh, I can't run well. Like my knees hurt. Just shoot them. Get rid of them.
Now, apparently he had been allowing use of his driveway to his disabled neighbor lady, largely because street parking is extremely limited, and what little street parking there is pretty much instantly occupied. What I'm saying is unless you have a driveway, you end up parking a good 5-minute walk away. And that's a best case scenario.
And a 5-minute walk for an obese disabled person is more like a 10-minute roll.
I mean, I'm just going to let that one sit where it is. Obviously, I was unaware of this, so I was surprised to see a large SUV, parked in my driveway when I moved in.
It's like a flatbed truck.
I ended up having to knock on several doors asking whose car it was because there were movers who could not stand still on the busy road for long. I figured it was the neighbor's car, so after 10 minutes of knocking, an extremely angry, enormous lady opened the door. I told her to move the car, and she immediately started arguing that the neighbor said it was fine. I told her he's moved out. I moved in, and no, it's not fine, and to move it because the movers need to unload my stuff. She begrudgingly did. I ended up seeing her walk back half an hour later, completely wet with sweat.
Oh no.
Goodness gracious.
Damn, dude.
Not
low key though. OP might be helping her avoid a heart attack with this one, you know?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe this
Just
is the fitness program she needed to turn it around.
The old car walk. Now, a few days later, I went back to work, and lo and behold, SUV is parked in my driveway again.
Dude, she's addicted to the workout now.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's like Barry's boot camp, but for obese people.
I go over there again, spend 20 minutes knocking on the door before this lady opens the door again, visibly angry. I tell her to move her car. My driveway.
I wonder if it's taking 20 minutes because it takes her 20 minutes to walk across her house. Oh, we're gonna get so canceled for this one.
Yeah, you're on your own on this one, buddy. I tell her to move her car. My driveway is not public parking. She protests, saying her ankles can't take walking the distance and claims that I can easily walk. I tell her that while that might be true, it's my god dang driveway and I want to park there myself.
Damn straight, yo.
Again, she moves her car. Again, I spot her half an hour later, drenched in sweat, making her way home. Well, it happened again a week or so ago.
Oh, man.
And this time, she would not open her door. I got tired of it and had her SUV towed.
Oh, that's a long walk.
It is. That is a very long walk. It is escalating. She, of course, came to my house to scream at me. I told her to get the hell off my property. A few days later, I had a small fence installed with a lock on it to make sure she didn't do it again. So I guess on the parking spot.
Low key smart. I feel like OP is just making smart moves. He's playing chess over here.
Definitely 4D chess over here.
Yeah. He's nuts on your chest. There we go.
I have since been getting dirty looks from her and one other neighbor. When I told my mom, she told me that I should be nicer to people. I do sort of feel bad. She clearly struggles with the walk after all. So the question is to the OKOP gang, was OP the a-hole? Now, I want to know what you all think. This is one of the trickier ones, one of the trickier, stickier ones. But Sam,
trickier, sweatier, stickier one.
Sweaty, sticky. Sam, wipe those beads off your forehead and tell us, what do you think?
Okay, well, I think if he noticed that she's parking there a lot and he doesn't use it, just like say like, hey, for a monthly fee, you could park there. However long you want. You know,
okay.
It sounds like she really needs to park
Interesting
there.
Solution.
So I say put that capitalist monopoly man hat on.
Yeah.
And make some money off this lady.
There we go.
At the very least. Or, I mean, I guess you could be like a nice neighbor. Just let her park there if you don't need to, but that's gross.
Come on. Why be nice when you can have
be
money
a capitalist,
instead?
when you can be Jeff Bezos of parking spaces on your neighborly streets.
100% monopoly.
Yeah. Now he's going to sell all the parking spaces up and down the block.
You know, that's an interesting idea because we read a story just a few weeks back where it was an airplane seat and the person was too large and he spilled over. And so OP's offer was like, hey, I'll take 150, which is like what it would be or whatever.
I think she would pay it, dude.
It's an interesting idea. I think it's definitely a good thing to offer.
Yeah. At the end of the day, yes, like a little bit of a dick move, but it is also his spot, so he can do whatever he wants with it. She's in the wrong for parking in his spot. Like it sounds like he needs it too.
Am I the a-hole for having my daughter write a morbid family tree project? Her teacher is furious at me.
Morbid family tree? Like, is it just that they're all dead?
Sam,
most of your family?
Sam, how dare you bring up your deceased great-great-great-great-grandfather in this class? My biological family is dead. I was raised in foster care, so my friends are my family. I met my late husband in college. He was just raised by his mother, who abandoned him and later passed away, and he had no adoptive family. As an adult, I've looked into both family trees and who our biological ancestors are. To put it mildly, either really dangerous people and or dead people. Also, my late husband and older son passed away in a car crash. My daughter is in kindergarten, and she, and more accurately me, was supposed to do a family tree study for a school project.
Stop rhyming, OP.
I tried speaking with her teacher that this was not going to be a Pollyanna pie in the sky report. The teacher is one of those people that can't comprehend that family sometimes is a dark subject and insisted that it needed to be biological. So I did.
Oh, dang. So we're going to get some dirt.
You want a dark report? We're going to give you one.
Oh, yeah.
For some of them, like my daughter's father and my son, I have actual information for that aside from just the fact that they've passed away. But for most of my family and my daughter's paternal family, I literally only have birth date, death date, when they would have had their kids, and some cemetery information. It was supposed to have 10 pictures, but most of the pictures I have of my ancestors are only headstones. I made a trip when my husband and I were first married to take pictures of the headstones, so I included those pictures in the report. I only have 3 pictures total of my biological family, and most of them were group shots where I could only label maybe 3 people. I don't have any pictures of my late husband's family from before me and my kids, but I put some of the older ones in there too. So while the other kids had long family trees, my daughter was basically introducing the concept of death to her kindergarten class. Now I'm getting slammed with calls from other parents, teachers, and the principal.
All the kids are coming back. I'd be like, am I going to die, mommy?
They were appalled that I allowed such a morbid report, and they're saying that I traumatized their children. Come on. I don't think I did anything wrong. They wanted a report on her biological ancestors, so I gave it, and I kept it G-rated. I just didn't lie that people were alive when they weren't. I don't raise her to think that death is taboo or something to be ashamed of anyways. Death is a part of life. Most of her/my family has passed away. So talking about family just means talking about death, and it's just something you have to accept. So the question is, am I the a-hole? So ladies and gentlemen, the question is OP the a-hole? Is the teacher the a-hole? And I think the big question is, what would you do if you were OP in this situation?
I mean, I think you just do the presentation as
you let it
as
rip?
Yeah, let it rip. I was thinking back. Did you do one of these like genealogy projects in
I
middle
don't think
school?
I ever did.
I remember doing that.
Yeah.
And it was awesome because it's like I get to ask my parents a lot about my family that I didn't actually even realize. And so I think it's more about the kid learning about their history than it is about like anything else. And so to lie about where your family came from would actually be like disrespecting the integrity of the report. Yeah, I think completely not the a-hole. I guess that's where we'll end.
See you later, guys.